That's our show. Good night, everybody. We're going to get out of here. You guys, hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. What a way to cap off the week here, my friends. This is going to be something special. Our next guest coming to the stage just happened to be responsible for one of the more highly anticipated shows dropping on Netflix this month. That's right. It's been 2 years, almost 3, give or take, but the wait is nearly over. Come October 19th, the 3rd season of Daredevil will finally be here. Exactly. That is exactly how I feel. You can only imagine my excitement because joining me on stage in just a few short moments, I got a lot of names here, so you might want to just start applauding. The cast of Daredevil, Charlie Cox is here, Deborah Ann Woll, Elden Henson, Joanne Whalley, Wilson Bethel, Jay Ali, and showrunner Erik Oleson are all here, everyone. All of them. They're all here. I saw them. They walked right in. They're here, all right? Well, they're there now. They'll be here in a second. We're going to get them out here in just a moment. But before we do, we're going to take a look at that brand spanking new trailer that just dropped yesterday. Let's go ahead and run that clip.
I used to listen to people asking for help. That's what I was trying to do, was help people. But I was fooling myself. Darkness only responds to darkness. I'm Daredevil. I have made many mistakes, but I accept the debt I'm paying because of them.
Prison has changed me.
What is it you're saying?
I want to make a deal.
He's claiming to have changed, but they don't know him like I do.
The last time that we spoke, you threatened me. That is something that I cannot forgive.
I'll stop him for good this time.
There's only one way to stop me, but you're not going to do it.
You sure about that?
Just be careful that you don't become the monster.
Because I've tried to make this city a better place. I will tell the world who you really are. Someone who's now showing his true colors.
Sometimes you have to hurt one person for the greater good.
The city needs a new villain. I think I might have found him. Daredevil is our true public enemy.
According to eyewitnesses, the brutal attack has been carried out by none other than Daredevil.
Who are you?
I'm Daredevil.
Ladies and gentlemen, cast and showrunner Daredevil Season 3. You want to go ahead? Make some noise. Now's the time. Oh. Wow. Wow, guys. I said it back there. First of all, this is a feat. We get a lot of people in here. You can't tell at home. There's like 40, 50,000 people in this room right now. You can't see it, but it is happening. Everyone except, I believe, Jay, your sister, you said, isn't here, right? She couldn't be bothered.
She had more important things to do.
Yes, okay.
So she flew in from London, and she decided to do something else.
Is there a chance she'll show up late?
I think she might have just shown up, and I told her to go home. Apparently, someone let her in, so I think she's back.
Is she around here right now?
She's
okay,
back,
fair enough.
yeah.
Because we had a whole plan. We were going to point at her, make her feel bad that she was late. Anyway, congratulations, everyone. I've gotten a chance to see a little bit of the show, and it is everything a Daredevil fan wants it to be. You guys crushed it. It is so good. Well done. Congratulations. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Honestly. We'll get into a little bit of the journey and how you did it in a second, but right now, how's everybody doing? How's New York treating you? How's life? How are we feeling? Huh?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good. Good.
No, I think we're doing excellently, man. We're on the end of our second day of press, and so far the enthusiasm has been extraordinary. So it's certainly given me a huge buzz. I can't wait now. I'm really excited.
That's fantastic. You guys are heading to Comic-Con this weekend, correct? Very exciting. The trailer we were just talking about came out. That's already in 48 hours, give or take. That's over 2 million views. People are drinking it in.
Over 5.
It's over 5? Is it 5 now? Jeez, that's amazing.
And counting.
I'm blown away, and I was doing
who's
research.
counting?
But yeah, right.
I'm counting.
That's right. You
I
are.
really want people to watch.
Unreal. You know, I had John C. McGinley was here earlier this week. He was just at Comic-Con. He was talking about Stand Against Evil, and he had the greatest description. He calls it the Elvis experience. He says, they bring you in the back, you go up a big elevator, you walk into a room filled with thousands of fans and lights. Is that what you guys have come to expect as well, the Elvis experience?
So what they don't tell you about the Elvis experience, though, is that when you come in through like where the garbage goes out. So everyone who comes to Comic-Con comes through the really nice fancy doors, and we come in the back up the ramp where it smells bad and there's catering going by.
I think that is the Elvis experience.
It's just what they don't tell you about the Elvis experience.
That's pretty amazing to hear from the other side there. Well, that's we're all very excited for you and for this achievement here. I want to start right here with you, sir. I read a lot about the freedom you were afforded as you were putting things together, pulling from Born Again, pulling from Guardian Devil and such. And I'm curious, how much, if at all, did the story evolve from the original pitch to what we see now? And what it's like to see your vision in its true form come to realization like this.
Well, honestly, it's an out-of-body experience right now. I'm the new guy with this crew, with this group, and to be a part of the Marvel family is kind of mind-blowing. No lie. Marvel had a number of ideas as I came in. They knew, for instance, that they wanted to bring Wilson Fisk back. And Jeff Loeb and I put our heads together in the beginning of before season 3 really existed, and he had a bunch of pitches that he wanted me to consider. And we partnered up, and I came up with an original story that takes pieces of my favorite comic runs. The goal was to come up with a story that would give comic fans what they want, but not in the way that they expect it. Yeah. So it's not a direct translation of any of the comic runs.
Yeah, that's always the challenging part, right? Is everyone sees one thing. Like we got to the end of Defenders, and we heard somebody grab Maggie, and everybody's like, Born Again, they're doing Born Again, got it, that's what it is. Yeah. I know that, and it's like, okay, hang on a second. Like, surely there'll be bits of that, but you've got to find that balance. You've got to give everybody something new, otherwise... what are we watching?
Right. I mean, the television show is its own art form, and the comics are separate and yet very related. So I hope we've hit the sweet spot.
Yeah. And was your vision always to make it as dark as you possibly could? Like you... Man, we talk about back to basics. This thing's dark and gritty. It's so good. And I want to talk to you. I want to talk to everybody about that. But real quick, your take there.
Well, the goal was to be emotionally honest. Yeah. And as I came on the show, a building had just dropped on Matt's head. Right. Elektra did not walk out of that building. There were certain things that we wanted to do to really keep it grounded and real, where there were lightning bolt moments of Marvel, but we were telling a story that was very much from the character's point of view, as if it were happening to them in real life. And that was one of the guiding principles. And also, one of the other guiding principles for the season was the idea of fear, and the notion that our fears enslave us, that every single character sitting on this stage has some sort of a fear that is driving their behavior, because that speaks to the larger world in which we live, in which people behave certain ways or vote certain ways or interact in certain ways, and that there are tyrants and narcissistic personality types that kind of can pit people against each other using fear and rise to power on the backs of that. So that became kind of the guiding principle for the season.
What an amazing angle to work with to bring Fisk back into it too, right? Like how great. So well done.
I was pinching myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must have had a hell of a light bulb moment. Dark it is, as we said, when we come back into the series, Foggy's dealing with the supposed death of his best friend, and you know, Karen's not really. Everybody, Matt. I mean, Matt. He's a different person entirely. He's pretty worse for wear. For the three of you going into this, you've sat with these characters for a little while now. You've played them 2 seasons of Daredevil. You've had some time on Defenders. Was it exciting when you got the scripts in to see that you were going to get to go to these deeper, darker, as yet uncharted waters for some of these characters and explore these different areas?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's always kind of excited me about this show is that it's also about the characters. It's not, I mean, we have great action and all that other stuff, but it's really character driven. And Erik did an amazing job of taking, like you said, all those characters to a deeper place, and you find out a little bit more about Foggy's family and maybe some backstory stuff with Karen. And, you know, it's just really, he did I mean, you know, she could probably speak more to that, but yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, beyond being excited that we got it, we asked for it. I mean, I think Erik really generously spoke with us beforehand about some of what he wanted to do and really heard what we wanted and delivered on both. So, yeah, we were all thrilled.
Yeah, man, you know, when I read the first 2 episodes of season 1, I remember thinking, okay, so, you know, after the particularly episode 2 of season 1, I was like, okay, so we're meeting a man who's like rock bottom. Right, and then episode 9 happens in season 1. I'm like, oh, okay. So now this is real rock bottom right now. And then he got shot in the head in season 2. And so I really was concerned about levels of rock bottom that I was capable of achieving.
Can you excavate as an actor?
Yeah. So there's always, you know, there's rock bottom, and then there's 50 feet of crap, and you can keep going until, you know, and one day we'll find it. You know.
Do you think? I guess you don't want to jinx it, but you think you came close this time? Are you there? Have you found it? Who's to say?
Yeah, I definitely think that you know, that this was what was fun about this season, in all seriousness, was meeting a man who's kind of so broken, and both physically in such a bad state, but also mentally, spiritually, emotionally, really worse for wear, questioning everything, including the nature of who he is, of what he stands for, his relationship to God, all of those things, and then allowing what that does to a human being in terms of their sanity, in terms of how reckless they can be, in terms of their desire and need to self-destruct, taking that and allowing a superhero to run with that, and that was incredibly enjoyable for me.
Yeah, it's enjoyable to watch too, and contradictory to the sometimes people talk about the Marvel slow burn. It's like, well, you got 13 This thing comes right out of the gate. We're tackling all of that within minutes. We get into that stuff, and it's just so much fun to watch. As dark as it is, as a fan, you're like, oh, this is I've been waiting for some of this. Joanne Wilson, for the three of you, what was it like walking into such a established world, such a fully fleshed universe? Was that intimidating as an actor? Does that help you find where you need to get to when everything is set up? You have all these established worlds and walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean the first week was a pretty surreal experience. Charlie stuffed me in a locker. Deborah
stole his lunch money and gave him a wedgie.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean it was yeah. I think it was justifiably a fairly terrifying thing to enter into. You know, a show that's this well established with, you know, an unbelievable fan base, and that had the kind of, you know, reputation that it's got. And then also to step into the shoes of these characters, you know, who, with the exception of Jay, who nobody really knows. What do you do?
I'm just, I drove him here, and I'm just
okay, cool.
Be taking him home after.
He is here solely to aggravate his sister. That is why Jay is here.
Clearly, the cast hate each other, and they don't get along on set, and nobody ribs anybody. It's really sad for me to see.
Yeah, it must have been a really hard process for you to work through. Just talk to us. I would love to hear your experience coming into this world.
Well, fortunately, I had no idea what I was getting into.
Really?
I was so ignorant of the whole Marvel world. Really.
That helps.
I think I live in a bubble or something. I don't know why. So, but I'm really glad because I had no idea. I mean, I quickly found out, but you know, it would have made me more nervous than I was. So I'm grateful that I was ignorant.
It's a blissful ignorance at that point, right?
Exactly,
You're able to
exactly.
Kind of focus on the task.
Yeah, but I do have to say that coming into a show any show that's been going for a while as a newbie is daunting. And, you know, after the first day, I didn't have any of that. And everyone was incredible and really welcoming. And I think just so excited about what we were working on.
That's amazing.
Everyone was so into the scripts. And so that there was a general kind of just great feeling.
It's always awesome when it happens that quickly, too. And I imagine Deborah didn't push you into a locker, did she? No.
She didn't.
Okay, good.
We did fight, though.
Good. Okay, good.
Hair pulling, anything, yeah. We just went for it.
And Jay, your experience?
For me, it was, I mean, whenever you heard about a Marvel show, and on Netflix, it was Daredevil. That's what everyone spoke about in the acting world, was that's a show you want to get on. That's of the highest caliber, highest quality. And the process for me, getting the role, I flew from LA to New York on a Sunday, got the role on a Monday, stayed here for a couple of days for fittings and things like that. Flew back to LA, came back, next thing I know, I'm in a prison cell with Vincent D'Onofrio. So, for me, it was...
Oddly jealous, sir.
It's a very romantic scene as well.
You paid quite the scene.
Yeah.
Cameras weren't even rolling.
Yeah, I know.
It was nothing to do with the show.
That was the audition.
Yeah. There's a side love story in this, which you might not see coming. So yeah, it was a pretty mad experience, and it was. The pressure was less for me because I was a brand new character, where these guys were coming into thinking these iconic roles. But everyone was so amazing, apart from Charlie, who he threw him in a locker. He stuck my head down a toilet. But I guess that's what happens, right? When you're new, But it was amazing, and everyone was so welcoming and made you feel at home straight away. So being overwhelmed, it went pretty quick.
Jay's opening line to me was, "It's so nice to meet you. Can you Skype with my son?" I've had more conversations with Remy than I have with Jay.
My son, just because Jay hadn't scheduled childcare for the day.
I was like, Charlie, I didn't think about this. Could you just look after my son on FaceTime for a few hours? Just tell me if he tries to jump off anything.
Dad of the Year award.
Yeah. Oh, my God. But it's funny, sorry, just a side note, my son never phones me. And he phoned me up, and he was like, all right, Dad. I was like, son, how are you? And he's like, good. You at work? And I was like, yeah, I'm at work. And he goes, is Daredevil there? And I said, yeah, he's there. And he's like, can I have a quick word? I was like, okay. So I pass it over to Charlie. Charlie's like, Remy, how's it going? And he's like, yeah, I'm good, Charlie. Good, Mr. Daredevil. Yeah, everything's good. And he's like, what are you playing with? And he's talking this conversation. I'm learning more about my son in the 3-4 minutes that he's talking to him than I have. And then Charlie gets called to set, and he's like, right, Remy, I've got to go speak to you soon. Hands the phone back over. And I'm like, so Remy, he's like, Dad, I got to go. I'm really busy. I got to go. Boop. Done.
And what's crazy, your son is 19 in that story, right? He's an older kid. How old
is
he?
Yeah,
he's like 19.
He's 24 now. No, he's 8. He's 8 years old.
Oh my God! Charlie? What were those conversations? What are you talking to? What could you say as the devil of Hell's Kitchen to an 8-year-old that is remotely appropriate?
Well, I just had to fit into the role that he was missing in his life, so I was talking about it.
Oh, that's nice.
So, I start off simple, when a man and a woman love each other very much.
He's just changed his name to Remy Cox.
Oh my God. We're gonna go to the audience in a second, but I've been very lucky to have a couple of people from the Marvel family on this stage and talk to them, and a lot of them have great stories surrounding the call when they found out they were going to be a part of the Marvel family. Sometimes they least expected it. They were in the craziest of places. I'm wondering if anyone up here has a great story surrounding that moment when you first got the call, and as it's been told to me before, they say, I think it's 3 words that change your life or something like that, right?
Welcome Welcome to Marvel.
That's the one. Does the
I thought I was the
tradition
only
stand?
one. I thought he just said that to me. He said,
It is a speech which basically Jeff Loeb delivers to all of us, writers and actors alike, that outlines that we may never, ever again go on social media and post anything of any kind to anyone, or there will be the Marvel police come and take us away.
Well, they always made it sound so much more magical when I asked them. I guess you never want to pull the curtain all the way back, huh? Guys, this is incredible. I could sit up here and do this with you all day, but obviously you've got a trillion things to do, and I wouldn't dream of taking time away from this audience. So we've got some microphones out there. I think we're going to start right here. Go ahead, kick it off.
Hi, I would first want to thank you so much. I'm a longtime fan of the comics, and the show has been a dream come true. So thank you for all your hard work.
oh, cool, thank you.
Yeah. And I was just wondering, and I know that people who joined season 3 can't say much, but I was wondering if you had a particular scene through which you really connected with your character, maybe for the first time or for a really in a meaningful way.
I had the wonderful opportunity to work a good amount with Vincent this year, and I think there's a really cool storyline with my character where Vincent kind of takes me under his wing, and he becomes kind of like a dark lord in my life. So there's a few really. Am I spoiler? You were supposed to shut me up a minute ago.
They didn't give me the button that drops you into a pit of spikes.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, if I had ever worked with Vincent D'Onofrio, I would say it was a pleasure, and I think there's some really cool stuff in store in terms of the relationship there, if that had ever happened.
Good save. This is a great question. Keep going. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I would say so. I finished another job at 4 a.m. in the morning, went home, packed, got on a flight, flew to New York, and was on the stages for Daredevil my first day, the day after that. And it was in first season, the scene where I'm being attacked in the jail cell. And I remember it was the very, very first day, and Jeff Loeb was there watching. He was like, I can't stay and watch you just be choked for 8 hours. But I remember being kind of grateful for it because since there wasn't a lot of dialogue and it was very physical, it was really easy to kind of connect to it. So first day on set, it was immediately oh yeah, I'm really feeling this. I'm sorry it was so violent, but...
That's a crazy introduction into the world, but oddly appropriate.
And I was 48 hours ago, I was having Thanksgiving in LA with a bunch of vampires. So there you go.
We live in a crazy time. We've got a few more questions we're going to take next. Oh, right here on this couch as well.
Hi, guys. My name is Markel. I just wanted to speak to what you mentioned before about how Wilson Fisk is going to be using fear as a weapon, and I just find it, just as a big Daredevil fan, getting a chance to see Daredevil, the man without fears, reap the consequences of not having fear. But I just wanted to find out from you guys what for each of the characters, how do you feel? Obviously for Daredevil, you represent the hero, but for each of the characters, what do you feel that they represent, to the audience, whether it be hope or, anything.
Truth.
Well, I think Karen's kind of a hero, man. She's badass, She runs right towards her fear, so I don't know. I think Foggy's not quite as brave, but I do think this season, his belief in the law and doing things the right way sort of deepens, and I respond to that. Yeah, I respond to that.
Loyalty.
Yeah.
With Foggy.
Does anybody else want to go around? Wilson, you want to roll the dice on this one?
Who do you play
Not
again?
what he represents, but what he is.
There's a great, one of the great things about what Erik did with my character was that he, Ray Nadeem represents the average American. Someone who just cares for his family, wants to provide for his family, and he's got a job and he's struggling. Life's getting on top of him. And he wanted to show how and it's so true of what's going on in the world at the moment, how power and money can manipulate, and fear can manipulate people into doing things. And that's one of the most amazing things about this character, was that he really does represent what is going on in the world at the moment today. And like Erik wrote this amazing role. I mean, all of them are just so amazing anyway, but what he did with me was, this character was just unbelievable.
And you butchered it.
Totally. My son got to speak to Daredevil on FaceTime. That's the main thing. So you win some, you lose some. You know, it's all right.
Erik, you were about to say something, did you?
The general idea is, if you add up the storyline of each of the characters, it is both an examination of how a narcissistic tyrant can manipulate fear to rise to power, but it is also the prescription for how to defeat that. The power of the law, the power of a free press, the power of collective action, of friendship, of family, and hope. And those are the things, ultimately, which I'm getting the signal that too many spoilers, shut up. Okay, I'll shut up now.
That's the man I want running my damn Daredevil show. Thank you, Erik. All right, we've got how many left? We got two, couple? Yeah, next one. Yeah, you're holding the mic. Do it.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for being here. So my question is for Nelson, Murdock, and Paige. I'm wondering how those three characters are going to handle the relationship after what they've been through. Like, after Foggy and Karen think Matt died saving the city, and is Matt going to stay away from them, or is he still trying to find help from them?
Great question.
Well, I think, obviously in the beginning of the season, Karen and Foggy are sort of dealing with a lot of grief and sort of trying to reconcile that in some way. And I think that sort of motivates them to sort of, or at least for Foggy, sort of step out on his own and try to figure out who he is without Matt. And with a little push from Marcy, Foggy starts running for DA. So there's some exciting stuff there going on. And, I don't know, I maybe...
Oh, dear.
No.
I'm not allowed to say that.
Stop.
I've been saying it all day yesterday.
Erik, it's all good. This isn't you're live. About 2 days late.
Okay, this is gonna be super boring because I'm not gonna get in trouble. I mean, I would say that Karen would struggle with it to the extent of, we left things in a bad spot, you know? I mean, the last time we sort of argued, and I think that that's really going to play havoc with whether Karen really descends into her grief or not. So that's so vague. There you go. Queen
Well done.
vague.
But you, in the way that you kind of said, I think that Matt is, he still is his great weakness in many ways. He thinks his great weakness in many ways is the love he has for his friends and the love they have for him. And initially, at least, his plan is to try and try and really cut all ties and allow them to continue to believe a lie, which is that he's no longer alive. For their sake as much as his.
After years of doing this, have you guys found any other part of your life where this unique skill of saying something without saying anything is applicable? Or is this really only the time you get to...
Evidently, some of us are better at it than others.
On your taxes? I don't know.
There you go. Fair enough. We got one more left. We're going to do one more question, and it is from over here to your
Hi, so I'm actually from China, and I want to say this for all the Chinese fans, that you guys are awesome, and this show is amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
I feel so lucky to be here. I want to say is when I heard the line in the trailer that let the devil out, that just immediately reminds me of two things that I really like in the previous two seasons. The first one is from season 1, episode 2, when Matt said that I'm doing this because I enjoy it. And the second one is from season 2, episode 3, before the hallway fight, that I remember that Matt's hands was taped with a gun, and he pulled the trigger, and he found there's no bullet, and he smirks. So I just want to know, first, is that does he really enjoy it? And the second question is, what does that smirk really mean?
So you've seen the show. What was the question, the final bit?
You couldn't wait to get your dumb joke out, could you? She's been waiting all day for that.
What was the final question part?
Okay, there are two parts of this question. The first one is, does he really enjoy it? Really enjoy being Daredevil and beat up people? And the second part is, what does that smirk really mean?
Okay, wow, really good questions. I think I'm going to leave the first part because I think that I'd rather not have an opinion on that. I'd rather allow you guys to have an opinion on that. I think the truth is it's complicated. I'm talking about whether he enjoys it or whether he doesn't. And the truth is I think he does and he doesn't. And figuring out what that line is both an incredibly scary prospect for him. And I think he probably has never quite asked himself that question entirely because he's afraid of what the answer might be. But it's a great line, nonetheless. And then in terms of the smirk, he does know that there's no bullet in there. I think Daredevil would know that. You know, based on the what he's capable of and the kind of his skill set based on how we understand it as part of this show, is he would know by the weight of the gun and the lack of space in one of the chambers whether there be a bullet in there or not. And the smirk, therefore, in story purposes, is because he's right in the middle of a corridor, which he loves, and it's about to go down. And this is for good or for better or for worse, he's in his element, and he loves this. And so there's enjoyment in that moment. But also it's also an iconic image from the cover of 184. So in which he has a gun in his hand. It's not taped, but he's smiling. So we added the smile just so we would have that brief moment that is exactly that cover, because it's a little bit of an Easter egg for the fans. Yeah.
Made with love. Yeah. I'm getting the signal. I got to wrap things up and let you guys go. How many? You said this was day 2. How many more days you got in front of you? Do you even know? You just keep going until they say you're done. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to Europe tomorrow night, and then over to South America.
Panel, then straight to Milan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bogota.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm going to Brooklyn.
That's where we send spoilers.
Spoiler alert, he's going to Brooklyn. Well, Godspeed. I cannot say thank you enough. It has been beyond a joy and treat having all of you here with us today in the middle of this whirlwind that you're on. Congratulations again. I'll remind the world it is the 19th. You already have it marked, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's the 19th. You better make a ridiculous amount of noise and join me in thanking these folks. Eric, Charlie, Deborah, Elden, Wilson, Joan, Jay. Make some noise.